So I am going to read a short excerpt from a letter I wrote to Stella some years ago. This was, I think, 2019, August. So, a letter to Stella Nyanzi. There's also another letter by Kedolwa Waziri that's beautiful. But this one is by me, and it's, you teach us to lay blame exactly where it belongs. My sister Nyanzi, I used to think tyranny means one party rule, one media station, and army garrisons everywhere. Now I know tyranny also means that who we love, how we live, how we die, and even the speed of our death is chosen for us by people that never have to face us. By people that have learned not to fear our wrath or our collective pain. You have taught me this, because both of us live under tyrannies. As I write this, you are in Luzira maximum security prison, contending with the tyrannies of the prison authorities, the judicial system, the police, Makerere University, Museveni, his state, and his personal machinery. We live under multiple tyrannies at once, some more immediate than others, all of them intent on silencing and killing us. I am writing this from Kenya, a country reeling through an economic recession that the state's press statements will never admit exists. A man-made recession fueled by looting that seems to grow arrogant each day. As I write this, Kenyans are dying in public hospitals because there is no medicine or the doctors have not been paid or someone stole the money for the equipment. As I write this, there are young people attending endless seminars on entrepreneurship because they face grim rates of unemployment. This too is a man-made disaster. I don't know how many young men the police have killed today. I don't know how many women have been sexually abused or killed by a country that just seems to hate us. There are the university students who are tear-gassed and beat up every time they try to march, and there are the communities unhuman by the state. I do not know how many queer people have been stripped or raped or mocked or told to prove they are African, real human beings, real Africans today. These are the tyrannies that I live under. We share some of these tyrannies, and for this, I call you sister. Allow me to call you Stella. When you staged your first youth protest at Makerere Institute of Social Research, several academics gave interviews to say that they condemned your protest and they found it too much. They mockingly asked if negotiations had failed for you to go to such lengths. More insultingly, some said while they agreed that you had legitimate grievances, you could have been more civil. They seemed to think that you should have spoken more sweetly. I laughed when I heard them. You know how tyranny works, Stella. How it works especially well in bureaucracies. You know how good bureaucracies are at silencing and ignoring, how good they are at moving exactly at the speed dictated by tyranny. No faster and no slower. Tyranny often wears a nice suit and can be well-spoken and well-respected. It can be a pillar of the society. At Makerere, you use the tools at your disposal in defense of yourself. The tools on that day were red paint, sellotape, your body, your voice, and the camera. These were the tools available to you, and the other important tool in your arsenal, arguably the most potent, is your refusal of respectability. So often, women, queer people are only celebrated when we protest in service of the men in our lives. Our brothers, our fathers, anyone but ourselves. I think of all of us who are scared of speaking in our own defense, scared of organizing for our own well-being, our reproductive freedom, our sexual freedom, our financial freedom, our safety. I think of how we have been intimidated to believe that this is entitlement, as if being entitled is a bad thing. How many of us have swallowed indignity after indignity because the only person being humiliated was ourselves? Here I pause in the middle of my letter to greet and acknowledge the movements that you come from, the movements that have shaped and supported you. We know that people are often isolated from their movements in order to make them messiahs, but messiahs don't exist. I greet you in the name of Rochard Mysar. Hashtag Women's March UG. Hashtag This Tax Must Go. Hashtag People Power Movement. And the many offline political actions you have taken. From standing in solidarity with students of Makerere when they protested arbitrary inclusion of fees, to caring for the Arua 33 that were victims of state violence.